Bigfoot Collectors Club with Bryce, Michael, and Riley. I know a story of high strangeness or two. Let's do this.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Bigfoot Collectors Club, the show where we talk to amazing guests, lately, mostly just each other, and share stories about their personal paranormal history and also stories of high strangeness. I'm your host, Michael McMillan. With me always is your other host,
Bryce Johnson.
And returning to the show for the first time in February, it feels like, super producer
Riley Bray. Hey, everybody.
Yeah.
Good to be back.
You sound like you just got off a boat.
I pretty much did, honestly. Getting my
Hey,
sea leg.
everybody.
Getting my sea leg. Hey, it's Riley Bray, everybody. I missed you. It's good to be back.
Nashville is coming for the BCC boys.
Oof, yeah, it's true.
One way or
Bryce,
another.
You've developed your deep love of Nashville now as well.
Oh, my God. I love Nashville.
Oh,
Love
it's a good
Nashville.
city. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good to be back. Good
You
to
were
be
out
back.
there. You've been out there working for a few weeks, which is why you haven't been around. It's
Yes.
not because you don't love our Club Scouts.
No. Not that at all. No. And it's, man, I missed you guys. And the last episode, the deep dive on the Skinwalker Ranch, while I was scoring that, I would like half the time I was like, man, I can't believe I missed this.
I know, it was tough. It was really hard. And the whole time I was thinking, boy, we really are making Riley work on this episode that he's not even
You
here
really
for.
were. Also, yeah, I realized that I had to score an hour and a half of show.
I
with
That was
gave-
awesome.
an
though.
hour
Those
to go to
ambient
the
sounds were
airport.
Dope.
I
So
gave you a heads up a week
You
in
did,
advance.
You did. But that didn't mean that I realized it. You know what I mean?
No.
But had you not done that, I probably wouldn't have realized it at all. So thank you, for keeping me on track. But
Well, perfect
man.
opportunity. What were your feelings about this return to Skinwalker Ranch? Do you have any hot takes?
I really think we should go there, you guys.
Oh, no way in hell I would go there after what I just reported on. Are you fucking kidding me?
You want to get the contagion, brah?
No, bro. You want to get that
Ah,
contagion?
Dude, I'm,
you wanna get
I'm
that Skinwalker?
vaxxed.
You
guys,
want-
I'm not bringing no
vaxxed
dog men
to the
home.
Yeah,
contagion.
you
I'm
don't
good.
want a
I'm good.
dog man digging around in your studio
No, dude.
down there.
Yeah, digging around in your garbage cans? No.
I don't know. Dog man would make a good drummer, maybe.
Riley just
Dog
that
Man
would be
for
a
a
Riley. Yeah, that would be a Riley thing to do, to go to Skinwalker Ranch, bring home a dog man, and then form a band with the dog man.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Exactly.
Wolf Brothers, that's the band.
Brothers.
That
That is
does
the band
kinda
Wolf
rule.
Brothers.
Yeah.
That has to happen now.
That
That's
has to
pretty
happen.
great.
It
Now
has
we need a
been
band
foretold.
t-shirt. This is Wolf
Yeah.
Brothers.
Good luck with
with
that.
all of us playing in a band together naked with the naked dog man, where we can all see each other's dicks.
Yeah, so the
Nah,
first
why
album
do
is
we have
called
to
The
be
Beast
naked?
of Bray Road.
Yeah.
It all works out.
Yeah, I love it.
Now we have three bands that we
So
can't keep up with.
We need a label to put out all these records.
God.
No,
we actually we need music.
actually, we have a label.
You don't
We
need music,
do-
Bryce. You just need a label. Trust me.
Yeah.
But Riley, we do have a
Oh, we do.
label.
We do have a label.
We
We've done a
do.
release.
We
Look at
put
that.
out
Look at us
one
go.
song.
That's so funny.
And we never finished signing up to receive the royalties.
No,
for it.
we still
done.
get
To this
Okay,
day.
good. I don't feel so bad. I don't feel.
Notifications.
Michael and Riley were like, Bryce, you got to sign up. You don't want to miss out on your royalties
you're-
on your Club Bryce hit, right? And I was like, no, I gotta.
Bryce,
I
you're
gotta
the
do it.
reason we haven't signed
Yeah, actually, you are.
specifically.
Here's me quietly
Oh,
deleting
man.
emails
man.
from Bandcamp or whatever the music
Whatever-
platform is. It's
whatever.
reminding us to
Yeah.
sign up
That's so
to get
funny.
royalties, guys. Sorry,
We do it for the
we're
love
catching
of
up.
the art, guys.
We haven't talked in a while. It's been a couple weeks
Been a
since the
minute.
three of us have been together. So there you go, guys. I'm excited because as of not this recording, but when this drops, tomorrow, February 24th, is Twin Peaks Day.
Oh wow.
And that is not the anniversary of when Twin Peaks first aired. It's the the 33rd anniversary of Laura Palmer's murder, which happened on February 24th, 1989. So the pilot takes place on that day. And so I'm continuing a now annual tradition of tonight, if you're listening to this episode, I'm going to rewatch Fire Walk with Me, which is the prequel, which you should not watch unless you've seen season 1 or probably the first 2 seasons of Twin Peaks.
Right.
Because it spoils the murder mystery, Bryce, which you don't want.
So I
spoiled.
can't watch anything. Okay, good.
No,
not for you.
But in the pilot, Bryce,
this is for the students that have done their homework. So
But Bryce, in the morning of tomorrow, as of this episode dropping, you should revisit and watch the Twin Peaks pilot, and then consider getting into it and maybe watching a couple episodes a week. And I think I'm gonna do a deep dive revisit into Twin Peaks. I have the Diary of Laura Palmer book. I have Twin Peaks: The Final Dossier. I have like 2 other books written by Mark Frost about the history of Twin Peaks. I think I'm getting back into it and committing full time this year.
Wow.
Love
okay.
this. Great.
Cool.
Because I haven't, as we all know, look, I grew up with Twin Peaks being on the fringes. I was too young and scared to watch it the first time around. I came to it about 4 or 5 years ago and discovered, this is my favorite show of all time. And I've rewatched the pilot multiple times. I've watched Fire Walk with Me multiple times, but I haven't done a back-to-back complete rewatch. And I think I'm going to do it this year because I miss that world. I miss those characters, and I want to read all the ancillary material that comes with it.
Gotcha. Okay. Wow. So that sounds like opportunity knocking. If I'm going to get into Twin Peaks, maybe
Now's
this is
the
the year.
I think now's the time. And we don't have to do any extra Patreon episodes about it. We don't have to do, maybe we could do a Patreon TV club where we just talk about the pilot, but we don't it's a soft commitment where maybe we just chat about it for a couple minutes during every episode of the main show. Like I want it to be pleasurable and fun for you, but I think it's time. Remember, we've said 2022 is a year of fulfillment. And I think, Bryce, you got to get into Twin Peaks. Okay. It's everything you've ever wanted in one show.
You will love it so
The
much.
hype is so built up now. It's like, but yeah, I'll think about it.
And look, the stuff where you go, oh, this
feels like
a little
sales talk. I feel like I'm on the other line of a sales talk.
Look,
look,
60 seconds to sell Twin Peaks.
Let me just talk with my wife about it. Okay.
No, you don't need to talk to her.
No.
Look, I got to talk with her to get the
Twin
decision, and I'll call you back. Can you just put that
60
for me
seconds to sell Twin Peaks? That's the new segment.
We just try to get Bryce.
You got to get into it, man. You got to get into it. It's now or never. So think about it.
Okay.
February 24th, I'll be watching in the morning with my coffee, my damn fine coffee, and pie, and you can text with me as we're watching together. No, they'll walk to school. Okay.
Right.
All of this is to say that, Bryce, tomorrow morning, I will be watching with my coffee, maybe some pie. And if you want to sit down on the couch and we can text together, live text a pilot together.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Of Twin Peaks. Riley, you're obviously invited. Then we should do it.
Great.
Well, no, remember this is next week.
Next week, I probably won't be on. Oh yeah, let's do it then. Hey,
and maybe we'll put it. Maybe I'll, to make it fun, I'll be putting up clips on the Bigfoot Collectors Club Instagram Live or whatever you call it. Maybe I'll do a little live hello. I'm going to celebrate Twin Peaks Day. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Here.
So if you've seen Fire Walk with Me, watch it with me tonight. If you haven't, wait to watch the pilot tomorrow because the movie will spoil who the killer is, and you don't want to do that. But I'm going to watch it because it happens chronologically the night before the morning that Laura Palmer's body is found. Does that make sense to everybody?
Perfect sense.
Great.
Sure.
On board. 100%.
It would, Bryce, if you were listening and if you fucking gave me a chance with Twin Peaks.
Woo!
Oh, boy. Boys, it's an L-Files episode. That means no guest this week. Riley's basically our guest this week because we haven't caught up with him in a while. And look, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I want to keep things a little more intimate this year. We're definitely going to have cool guests. We've had some cool guests, but not every week needs to be a guest episode. Okay? I want to hang with you guys and the Club Scouts. And that means that before we dive into some very cool stories that we got sent in and some BCC news items, it's time for a quick little tiny bit of club housekeeping.
Great. Let's get out the broom.
Let's get it out. And you're going to need to wear some clothes while you're sweeping up. So sport your love for Bigfoot Collectors Club by heading over to our merch shop at TeePublic and grabbing some tees and some mugs and some stickers. Click the link tree in our bio on Instagram at Bigfoot Collectors Club or Twitter at Bigfoot Pod, or the link in our show notes, or go to wearecampfire.media and smash that shop button. Smash it. Join our Patreon, BCC The Other Side. For $5 a month, you get 3 bonus episodes, plus access to our entire backlog of exclusive BCC sods, which is around like 178 drops now. On our latest Patreon drop, we took a look at the Dirkmont Woods UFO encounter from Scotland as part of our Northern Fright series. And official announcement, guys, beginning in March, we are going to launch an official second tier, which will unlock the soundtracks that Riley composes for our stories of high strangeness each and every week, including some of our past favorites. So for $9 a month, you'll get tier 1, which is a minimum of 3 bonus episodes every month, access to the entire archives, and then tier 2, weekly soundtracks of high strangeness from one Mr. Riley Bray. Also, we might throw in some other more avant-garde experimental podcast stuff. Maybe Bryce and I are going to get in on this action. We're still working out the kinks, but that's the idea. We threw up that sample episode on the Patreon a couple weeks ago. People loved it. I loved it. My sister, shout out Sarah, texted me and said, thank you for putting that Sierra Sound soundtrack up there because I was thinking about how good it was when I was listening to it.
Nice.
How about that?
That's
family,
fantastic.
official Macmillan family recommendation. So we're going to launch that beginning Wednesday, March 2nd. So I'm going to give you guys a little hot tip. If you're thinking about joining the Patreon, do it on Wednesday, March 2nd, because we charge our listeners up front at the beginning of every month. So if you join this week, you're going to get charged for this month, and then you're going to get charged again at the beginning of the month. So look, we're letting you know, wait till March 2nd. Wait till March 1st or March 2nd. Join the Patreon. Sign up for $9. Get both tiers. Get the full Bigfoot Collectors Club goodie bag, and enjoy. And you know what? If you don't like it, if it's not what you wanted, you can cancel. You can
just put it back on the shelf.
Put it back on the
Totally.
shelf.
Put it back on the shelf.
Also,
Give us-
honestly, if you're really diligent with your laptop, you could join for a month and download our entire catalog and then just cancel it, and we would still be happy that you did that.
I mean, I would not. I'd be a little bummed, but it's within your rights.
We would appreciate it if you stayed.
And guess what?
Patreon tips and
Here's the
tricks
thing.
by Riley
Look,
Bray.
we get it. Times are tough. Like,
Yeah.
if you want to throw down $9 and buy yourself like the whole fucking bonus features of Bigfoot Collectors Club, do it. By all means.
Also, guess what, guys? I know all y'all have been doing some of that in the past. That's why we charge up front now. Because
snap,
a lot
you
of
got
you would
called
sign
out.
up for a month and then duck out before you got charged.
Also true.
You guys
Also
ruined
true.
it. You guys ruined it for everybody else.
This is why we can't have nice things.
This is why we can't. But listen, all support for the show goes much appreciated. And guys, there's like, you can have almost double the amount of Bigfoot Collectors Club for what you're getting right now. And
True.
you'll be supporting the show. You'll be actually, this is the thing I think people don't understand. That's what keeps the show going.
Yes.
That's why we make more episodes. It is literally listener supported. Yes, we have sponsors every now and then. Sponsorships are great. Sponsorships are not keeping the boat afloat here. Okay. It's you guys. This is a crowd-funded experiment. So if you've been listening for 4 years and some change, and you haven't tried, if you haven't supported, this is like the public radio pledge here.
Do it as pledge month, everybody.
Do it 1 month. See if you like it. We will really, really appreciate it.
We notice.
Okay? We notice, and it gives us momentum. Okay. Enough guilt tripping. We're giving you a whole other tier. You're going to get fucking awesome ambient music.
I'm so excited.
Once
for that.
a week.
I'll tell you guys. I'm really excited. And I'll tell you about how I make it and what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, you get fun, cool notes from Riley. It's great.
I promise it's fun. It'll be great.
All right.
And I'm excited for you guys to listen to this weird improvisational music that I'm forced to make every week. It's a nice thing.
Yes. Support Riley. Make him feel better about having to do this. Okay. Also, don't forget to follow BCC on your favorite podcast app so you never miss an episode. And please give us a 5-star review. If you do, we may read it on the show, like this one from Apple Podcasts. Bryce.
It's for reals, Troy Mattingly writes. BCC is the best paranormal podcast out there. It's the real stuff, son. 5 stars. Hell yeah, Troy. Troy knows
what
what's
I got to
up.
do.
Troy knows how to write a review. Yeah.
Hell
That's right.
yeah.
Troy, one question. Are you a member of the other side?
He called them out individually.
Troy wrote a
Are you?
5-star. He's
Troy?
good.
Troy, if you join,
We
we'll
appreciate
see
it.
it.
Yeah.
Just so
Troy,
you know.
come
We'll
March
see it.
2nd.
We're talking to you, Troy.
We'll see it. Okay. Enough's enough of that. Club Scout. How's Club Scout cleaning over, okay? I took everyone out in the yard and I hosed them down. And I was like, get in your bunks, no marshmallows tonight.
That's dark. Good. Very good.
Yeah. All right. It's time, Riley, get ready. It's time for some BCC News. All right, so I wanted to begin this segment off by recapping a weird story that had been happening for the past couple weeks. And Riley, and Bryce, actually, both of you boys, I meant to bring this up a week or two ago, and then I forgot. I don't know if you saw the story that came out of Westmoreland, Pennsylvania, where a woman had captured a mysterious chupacabra-like animal. We're talking the dog chupacabra here, not the lizard alien, on her property in Pennsylvania. She sent it over to the rescue. Everyone took a look at this dog-like entity, creature, cryptid, and no one could identify it, right? So people were saying, oh, it's some sort of hybrid. Maybe it's a chupacabra. Well, I'm
pretty sure the lady behind the vet's desk wasn't like, maybe it's a chupacabra.
Yeah, that was the first thing. I don't know. Everyone has access to the internet these days, including this show. So you never know who is a chupacabra suspector and who's not.
Fair enough.
So the rescue takes this thing in. They draw a little blood to do a DNA sample. This thing chews through its pen and escapes back into the wild. So they lose it. But the DNA results came back this past week as of this recording, and it turns out it was 100% coyote. It's a coyote. It was a coyote with mange, which a lot of these chupacabras that people are like, what is this? Or is this a baby Bigfoot? No, that's a bear with mange. That's a coyote with mange. But for a while there, people were very stumped as to what animal this woman had found. But indeed, coyote.
So at the end of the day, a lady found a sick, sad coyote.
Yes, a very sad coyote with a very strong will to live.
I mean, yeah, we are all that coyote, aren't we?
Well, just a recap for the fans, and for those who don't know, there's really 2 kinds of chupacabras. There's the one that originated in Puerto Rico, which, like you said, Michael, is more like the creature from the movie Species with Natasha Henstridge.
You keep saying that, but it is not a hot naked lady walking around. It's more of a reptilian gray. Let's just make that clear, because people are going to think,
and then there's
people are going to go out looking for chupacabras when you describe them that way.
Well, you can hear us talk more about Chupacabra if you go back to BCC 33 with special guest Tom Length.
There you go. All right. Another weird story over the past week. I don't know if you guys saw this one. This one is pretty, I mean, it could turn out to be a natural phenomenon that's just very strange.
Right.
This is from the Washington Post, although it was reported first elsewhere, I think. A viral video of birds falling from the sky sparked countless theories, but there's a likely answer. The residential street in Cuauhtémoc, let me make sure I'm saying that right. Cuauhtémoc, I'm going to say, yes, a city in the Mexican state of Chihuahua, some 216 miles away from Texas, was seemingly quiet when, in one fell swoop, a cloud of birds suddenly dropped from the sky. Now, this is on video. We're going to put a link to this in the show notes. You can watch this or just Google Mexican birds fall out of the sky and something will come up. In a matter of seconds, most of the birds flew upward, but scores of others were left as black and yellow corpses on the ground. The eerie and bizarre scene captured by a surveillance camera on February 7th has gone viral. It has also sparked an online debate over what could have possibly caused the birds to so abruptly plummet to their deaths. Now, you guys watch this video. What is your take on this?
Oh, it's just fucking creepy, man. I don't know. That doesn't seem natural. If it is, it must have something to do with electromagnetism. I mean, because don't all birds have that sort of, okay, here we go. Don't birds got that crazy gyro in their brains?
You can short them with it if you get a couple car batteries.
Yeah, in a microwave, you run it for 2 minutes, it's going to short them out.
This is our character, the Southern PhD.
Our redneck scientist hasn't been around for a while.
He's back.
Redneck scientist is back after a pre-pandemic hiatus.
It ain't natural.
I mean, you're not far off, Bryce, because I think what scientists think is this was basically just like an instance of like one clumsy bird throwing off a lot of other birds.
Oh, really?
I mean, I'm exaggerating, but so the theories, back to the Post article here, being bandied about online range from electrocution after smacking into a power line to more outlandish suggestions such as interference of 5G technology or a collision. Guys, I can't believe this is actually in the Washington Post. This is why you shouldn't doubt a receptionist's belief in a chupacabra or a collision with an invisible spaceship.
That one. It's that one. You know when your gut just rings out and you're like, that's what it is. I get that with that. A UFO.
Yeah. Local.
I'm here for that. You guys also, sidebar. On the plane today, I talked to a lady and she showed me a photograph of a UFO that she took that blew my fucking mind.
Oh, really?
So I was like, we have to, I need this for my podcast. I told her all about it. So stand by. I will try. I'm trying to get this photo from random person
no
on
way.
the flight.
Oh, that's great.
It's the best cell phone UFO photo.
Okay, well, describe it. What kind of disc? What kind of craft?
It was like a not quite disc, but like large craft, silver metallic, clean, like, kind of clean lines, like disc shaped, but a little bit more, I don't know, like the SoFi Stadium, maybe, let's say. You know what I mean?
Like a chevron or boomerang shaped?
Ish, yeah.
Okay.
Classic flying, sounds like a classic flying saucer to me.
You got a CS on your hands.
It was pretty CS, yeah. And I mean, truly, I was like blown away by this. So we followed each other on Instagram. I will try to get you guys that photo, but
love it.
Crazy. Yeah.
It sounds like a very fun meet cute in a paranormal.
Isn't it kind of fun to be like, comedy? I'm a paranormal podcaster.
It is. It's a fun icebreaker.
It only works in so many rooms.
It works in every room. Actually,
yeah, that's true.
If you know how to work the room. Yeah.
Well, so anyway,
sorry.
No, this is great. I love it. Let's see that picture. But back to this story. Zoo technicians suggested the birds had died from inhaling toxic gas created by pollution. But an ornithologist from Cornell named Kevin J. McGowan said that the only thing that makes sense was that the birds were fleeing from a predator and some mistakes were made in their escape. This was truly an oops moment for the birds, he said.
God.
A really big oops moment.
This is when scientists sound so dumb, right? It's like, oh, they must have made an oopsie.
They've done an oopsie.
Escaping a predator. This is a classic bird oopsie. Escaping a predator. It's like, dude, something anomalous happened here. I mean, I've never seen anything like that. It looks like just they were struck down in this burst of air or something. Like I don't know. You got to watch the video. It's crazy.
The whatever makes him drop is off camera, but McGowan said that the robin-sized birds, quote unquote, have the same goals, so they agree to move in the same direction, much like a school of fish or an angry mob. So when they are being attacked by a predator, such as falcons, hawks, and owls, all of which inhabit Chihuahua, the birds inch closer together to create a tight-knit pack. And then he says, the big flocks can make these quick twisting motions, move together very quickly. They're all following the one right next to them who makes the most decisive move. They're wingtip to wingtip in this tight bunch that makes it harder for the predators to actually pick one out and keep up with it. But their survival mode is not always foolproof. They can sometimes misjudge their speed or distance from sky to ground, resulting in the uncommon but not unheard of visual of a flock of birds being dumped from the sky. They took a hard turn and they crashed into the ground.
No way. They just like derped. They were just like,
they derped. It's what you could call a real derp moment.
Man,
wow.
I don't know.
Birds, come on, birds, get it together. Get it
Yeah.
together, birds.
All right, I guess I got to
spooky-
defer to the bird scientist then, right?
I mean, Bryce,
I like
gotta
invisible
say,
UFO. I like it. And I'm
Yeah.
working
Bryce,
on the evidence to prove it.
Oh,
I
okay,
do-
bird scientist.
Wait a
I
minute.
guess that's what it was.
Bryce, you
You
can't,
like Big Bird, Bryce?
Bryce, you can't mock an ornithologist when something like the rest of us don't understand happens. He literally is the expert, buddy. He
Yeah.
is the expert.
Did you even know the word ornithologist before Michael just said it?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Nice. All right. You're up on Big Bird. All right.
All right.
I
That
did.
wraps up our BCC news segment. We're going to get into some questions and some letters from our listeners. Before we get into the deep L files, we do have a couple comments and questions from listeners that I thought were worth addressing. Bryce, why don't you kick it off with this question from listener Ross?
Sure. It's about Ouija. In the decades before The Exorcist made us scared of Ouija, however you like to say it, millions of people innocently used the boards without closing them properly or drawing circles of protection or taking any other precautions. If you believe the Ouija is a portal to evil, then a lot of evil spirits must have been released during these decades of careless, unfettered Ouija use. So, is that why we had World War II, or the bomb, or the rise of international terrorism? Look at the timeline. The board was introduced in the 1890s, and the 20th century quickly became the most violent, evil period in human history. Might the Parker brothers actually set off the apocalypse? I'm mostly joking, but I'll probably be thinking about this as I try to go to sleep tonight. Love the show, Ross. Thank you, Ross. Yeah, hey, man, I'm down for that. Let's blame the Ouija.
I mean, I think that's a case of correlation, not causation. I would say causation of the slow collapse of society is maybe late stage capitalism.
Yeah, a little
but,
late stage capitalism, a bit of systemic issues that have been running rampant throughout the 20th century.
I want to
think
go
that-
with unclosed Ouija portals. It's so
All you had
obvious,
to do
guys.
was salt your
Jesus.
boards. It's all your fault.
Now, are the Parker brothers, are they part
the
of,
horsemen of the apocalypse?
in terms of late stage capitalism? Yeah, sure.
I mean, they're part of it. Yeah, sure. Yeah, and we're all part of it.
We're all
That would
part
be
of
a
it.
good conspiracy theory for Lizard People podcast with Kate Hempstead.
Absolutely. But
Totally.
look, I love this stuff because it does seem, let's be honest, there was a lot of strange occult activity leading up to and around the 1940s, World War II. Obviously, there was stuff with, magic orders and rituals. We've heard about Aleister Crowley maybe summoning the Loch
Absolutely,
Ness
man.
Monster.
Absolutely.
That perhaps L. Ron Hubbard and Jack
You
Parsons
just
were
said
out
it.
in the desert opening a portal for the alien Greys to come through. Lamb, who used to speak to Aleister Crowley. Now, is this all, I'm with you, Ross. I'm kind of half joking here, but one could not feel, guilty for thinking that something weird happened at the beginning of the last century to bring in all of this strange shit. But I do think it is actually probably much more pedestrian, human, and
it's the
complicated.
Industrial Revolution.
Yeah, it's the industrial. I think it is the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah.
But to Michael's point, Ross, and look, I like where you're going with this. There does seem to be something with this, like well, hold on, let me finish. Not closing portals properly. We got to close those portals, guys. Whether it's at Skinwalker Ranch or in your own home playing Ouija, or
if you're flushing the toilet. If you're flushing close the lid before you flush, guys. Yeah. Google what happens. Google what happens if you don't close the lid when you flush.
Oh my God.
It's wild.
It is not good. Okay? Close those portals.
Jesus.
You gotta close the portal.
Never leave an open portal.
A flock of birds go down in there? Or?
Yeah, look it up. Look at the
I will not
Bryce,
look it up.
the particle
fecal microbe spray everywhere.
6 feet in the air easily.
No, 16 feet.
16.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It goes everywhere, buddy.
Okay.
Hashtag shut the lid.
Hashtag close that portal.
Close that portal is way better. Hashtag. Yeah. Hashtag close that portal. Let's make that a thing.
Cut to Bryce yelling at everyone in the family to slam the toilet lid down. No, you gotta shut it. You gotta shut it before you flush.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it goes everywhere. Okay, Riley,
right.
we have a commenter from the other side,
Yes.
Christopher.
Right, this is from Christopher, who wrote in on the other side, and he said, long-time listener, first-time commenter. Thanks, Christopher. Nice to have you aboard.
And thanks for supporting the show.
And yet, thank you, truly, Christopher. We see you. Hey, BCC crew. I was wondering if any of you had heard of the Black Forest haunting. If not, maybe it could be a possible topic of high strangeness. From what I heard, it was a series of unexplained phenomenon that happened to a family in their Colorado home in the 90s. I recently started listening to Campfire, Tales of the Strange, and Unsettling podcast, and they had an episode about it. It reminded me of something similar to Stardust Ranch or Skinwalker Ranch. I don't know what Stardust Ranch is. That's me talking now. They said it's a rainbow vortex or something like that. Also, don't know what a rainbow vortex is, but I definitely want to. All right, cool.
Well, there you go. I'm putting that on my possible episodes idea list.
Homework for you guys.
Black Forest haunting. There it is. It's on my possible episode ideas. So thank you for that. Can you
please also explain to me what a rainbow vortex is? And I would also like to know what Stardust Ranch is. So
I don't know either of those. I could guess. I could postulate.
Bryce, you have an assignment for next month.
It's your assignment.
What is a rainbow portal? I'm not sure what that means.
We need to know. We need to know what a rainbow vortex is. And Stardust Ranch definitely sounds like...
That sounds like a bunny ranch, like out in Vegas. Like where you,
it sounds like where BJ and the Shadowbats would record their debut
Absolutely.
album.
That's like BJ's...
Welcome to Stardust. Hope we like the girls here.
That's BJ's Graceland. Is Stardust Ranch.
Stardust Ranch, yeah.
Speaking of Graceland, did you guys watch the new trailer for the new Elvis movie by Baz Luhrmann? Holy shit.
With Hanks as Tom Parker?
Tom Hanks plays Colonel Tom Parker, and Austin Taylor plays the king himself. It looks so fucking good. Cannot wait for that.
Yeah.
I sent June Bryce an image of a nude a Velvet Elvis painting today, full frontal, and he loved it.
That's
I'm not gonna lie. I liked it.
Immediately hearted and said, "I need this."
Heart emoji.
Yeah. Okay. So this came in. We've got a letter from. Oh boy. Where is the? Oh boy. He wrote in, and I said, "Yes, I got this. Don't worry." And now, is this? Oh, this is Renee. Yes. Okay. This came in from listener Renee. A couple of years ago, I sent in a story about my parents seeing a ghost walking on the side of the road wearing a prisoner uniform. Now I realize I assigned gender to Renee, and I apologize. He, she, or they. I'm not sure. Black and white stripes while holding a ball and chain. I do remember this story. I wanted to send this article that we stumbled upon. More sightings of the man and more paranormal goings on. I think I got to go camping out there. Thanks for the podcast, Renee. Now, this is an article that Renee sent in about Oregon's Van Duzer corridor. And it says it has had years of bizarre paranormal activity. I'm going to read from this article from Oregon Life. Check this out.
Van Duzer, that's a good bad guy name. Like,
Totally.
like Ghostbusters 3, Van Duzer.
Ghostbusters, or like someone Arnold Schwarzenegger would be hunting down in the 80s.
Right.
So
Van
is Oregon's
Duzer.
Van Duzer corridor haunted? Does this stretch of Highway 18 near Lincoln City have its own Area 51? I've been in Lincoln City. Locals talk about a secret government facility in the Coast Range, one with dark winding roads leading up to nothing but a huge fence. Individuals are said to appear and disappear on the road, and one person insists that his car was taken over and began to drive by itself. This would be years before Tesla automated driving was a thing. Bigfoot has been rumored to hang out here too, although his legend pales in comparison to some of the other creepy stories surrounding Highway 18. For example, people have been seeing everything from weird lights to army bases somewhere in the woods. Rumor has a pair of says that a pair of has a pair driving through the winding, twisty roadway and feeling like their car, I think they meant couple, was controlled by some unseen force. Another tale has two Seattle friends telling a person that they spotted what looked like a secret military base while hiking in the woods near what was the tiny hamlet of Boyer, Oregon, or Boyer. I was just assuming Boyer was watching people make love in the same room. There is actually a hidden ghost town in Van Duzer corridor as well, purportedly somewhere just east of Rose Lodge. Yeah, so looks like this place is pretty creepy. UFOs being spotted. I don't know. Let's check out the Van Duzer corridor. What a cool name.
Yeah,
That's
that
a
is cool.
name, and we should go there. That's all I'm
Let's
saying.
do it. Here's actually, Bryce, why don't you read the story, an eyewitness story from that area that was submitted to Roadside America here.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do that. And then I might just put that on my possible episodes idea list as well. The Van Duzer corridor. Love it. Getting some great tips here from our listeners. Okay, here we go. My wife and I regularly travel this section of road to and from work, often at night. We know from Lincoln City to home is a 45-minute drive. One night, we left after a bite at Maxwell's in Lincoln City and headed home. The band was playing their last song. The time was 2 a.m. We both noted that and calculated to ourselves the arrival home time at about 2:45 a.m. We're musicians and had finished our evening gig earlier that night. Upon arriving home, I stepped into the kitchen and glanced at the clock. 4:30 a.m. I turned to check the battery-operated one on the opposite wall. It also read 4:30. My wife had yet to make it in the door. She was visiting with the dog on the porch. I stepped back out and inquired, "Hey, honey, what time do you think it is?" "About 2:45-ish," she replied. "How about 4:30? No way." Yeah, wow. I'd call that some missing time, if anything.
Yeah, I mean, I will say I'm also a musician, and it has happened many times where I'm like, is it about 2:30? And it's about 4:30, and I'm like, oh, shit. So...
Right. Plus, there's a lot of
just
drugs
throwing
and
that
drinking involved, too, in musicianship.
Not even
so.
drugs and drinking, just sleep deprivation, mainly.
Right,
But,
right.
you know, the time between 2 and 4 is pretty abstract.
Nebulous.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but it's only a 45-minute drive.
That's a... Yeah.
They're saying they
left
clocked
at 2
that
a.m.
too. They were like, "Oh, we should be back around 2:45." You know, like it was pointed.
That's true. All right, that's true. That's true.
Maybe there was a power outage while they were gone. I don't know. Strange.
I mean,
or they were abducted.
Yeah, I mean, if you start having weird, crazy, vivid dreams about things happening to you on a desolate stretch of road, you might want to go get regressed.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's an opportunity for regression.
Look, it's just that it is what it is. It's an opportunity for a regression session. And should you take
being
it?
in a band
Yes.
or
Oh yeah, that's definitely a regression session. No doubt about that.
All
I
right,
mean, I'm not trying. You guys, I'm not trying to discredit your story. I'm just making a joke.
No.
about it. Yeah, you probably should get regressed. See what
Yeah.
happens.
So just find out. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, it's time to listen to some L files, some listener files from you, our dear Club Scouts. We'll be right back. All right, guys, it's time to get into your L files. These are listener stories about personal paranormal experiences that happen to you guys. If you have a personal paranormal experience you want to share, and let me tell you, we'd love to hear it, especially right now. Our library is getting a little thin. Write in to BigfootCollectorsClub@gmail.com and label it L Files, okay? And we will read it on the air. Keep it, some of these get a little long and we don't, but
Keep it tight.
Keep it, try to keep it tightish.
Yeah, but be poetic, but keep it tight.
You listen to the show. If we can read it in a couple minutes, then great. If it's takes longer, if it's longer than like 5 pages, then forget it.
Too
I'm
much.
sorry.
Yeah, too much.
All right. But please do. BigfootCollectorsClub@gmail.com. All right, here we go. Hi, Bryce, Michael, and Riley. Hope you're all flourishing. Well, thank you very much. I'm a new listener in the strange phase of begrudging fandom, mainly because this podcast is bringing up memories of experiences I've had over the years, some transformative, some all too personal. Not a bad thing, but certainly something to process at a slower pace. Thanks for what you do. Hey, man, proceed with caution. That's what I say. Take it at your own pace. All good. We're here, and all our episodes will be here for you. So whenever you hear this episode, here's your story. They say, there is one incident that I've always been curious about and have had no good explanation for. It's trivial enough that it never really comes up in conversations, but I thought you would find this intriguing and perhaps even offer up some explanations as to what was going on there. The incident in question happened halfway through college when I was a visiting student in the UK. Hey, me too. Due to a housing snafu, I was assigned to a 1-bedroom apartment, usually reserved for visiting researchers. My only roommate took the bedroom, whereas I slept and occupied the living room space, a happy arrangement since she was either in her room or out and about. One night in the winter, I woke up feeling cold. The heating was on, but my blanket had been slipped off my shoulders, leaving my upper body uncovered. I slept on my side, facing the windows to the left, but I couldn't move my body at all, either to turn or to use my hands to pull up the blanket. I tried to rid myself of the paralysis and the accompanying helplessness by straining the muscles around my eyes, trying to open them wider, but was immediately distracted by what felt like an electric current on my back. It was a prolonged electrical shock that did not spread elsewhere, and thus seemed targeted, somehow intentional. After a few more seconds, I realized that said electrical current was trying to move my blanket to cover up my shoulders. It did so by reaching is in quotes, into under the folds of the fabric, and then smoothing them out so that the blanket would stretch upwards. This was a terrifying realization, which naturally prompted rationalization. Perhaps the electricity was static from my roommate's hands? But based on our relationship and my knowledge of her schedule, not her ability to channel electricity, that was me saying that, she'd have neither reason nor occasion to do this for me. Also, the electric sensation was much stronger than mere static and persistent throughout, to the point of being almost painful, like tiny needles pricking my skin through clothes. My back eventually went numb along the spine. In addition, there were no audible signs of anyone standing behind me. There were no breathing sounds or footsteps. There was no rustling of clothes either, only quiet night. Somewhere, anticlimactically, the process of moving Somewhat anticlimactically,
There
the
it is,
process
yeah.
of moving a blanket took a very, very, very long time. So long, in fact, that the fear turned into a weird mix of embarrassment, annoyance, and genuine thankfulness. Please be over. I can do this myself if you let me. It's not that cold anyways. Why are you so bad at this? At least turn down the voltage. Were some of the things I didn't have the courage / death wish to say out loud, but thought to myself in the moment. There was no sense of the shape of this thing beyond the direction of the electric current, but the characteristics of said electric current were enough to give it kind of a personality, conjuring up an image of something trying their best to be helpful, and perhaps even gentle, but kind of doing a bad job at it. It eventually succeeded, however, and my paralysis persisted for some time after the current dissipated. After that, it was another few months. Another few moments. God, it would have been months for me until I fell asleep again. This happened a few years ago, so the situational details are a bit hazy. I feel like you captured them perfectly. But the sensation and the emotions I had during the experience have stayed. Do you have any idea what this could be? Again, it could have been my roommate, all charged up with winter static, especially because I was unable to turn and observe whatever was helping me. But the very inefficiency of the moving blanket, the intensity of the electricity, and the very specific way in which the task was accomplished all put me off of the hypothesis that this was a person. Thanks for reading. Stay safe and healthy, Anne.
I mean, sounds like an electricity ghost to me. You know?
Yeah. A thoughtful electricity ghost. I mean,
Yeah,
look.
it's like, you got to stay warm.
I've been, like, sometimes I get, like, a weird, I don't know if this happens to you guys, but, like, I get, like, weird electrical shocks or, like flutters or, like my muscle feels like it's tensing up or twitching or something when I'm having, like, a sleep paralysis moment. But I've never had anything where it felt like the blanket was actually slowly moving upwards and flattening out and covering me.
Yeah,
that's very... I mean, this sounds like some good old-fashioned telekinetic activity if it wasn't all just part of the sleep paralysis experience.
Yeah.
I guess it's possible it was, like, hallucinated, you know? Like, in a semi-dream state of sleep paralysis, you know, maybe.
It's possible. Michael, do these like shadow people that people constantly report in their bedrooms when they wake up in the middle of the night? Do they ever, like...
It is a constant thing.
Do they ever, like, fix the blankets, or do they ever, like...
tuck you in at night?
Do they ever tuck you in, or is that, like... No, not really, right?
In fact, we always hear stories of blankets being pulled off of people.
Right. Not
in haunted hotels and houses.
Yeah, right.
You got the one considerate ghost in London.
Right. And it's like, I'll just tuck you in then. I'm just an electricity ghost.
I was going to pull off the blanket, but you looked so cold.
I think so cozy.
I think we can rule out the static electricity charged up roommate. I think we can definitely rule that out. Let's take that off the table. They're off the list. So either weird sleep paralysis sensation, but again, like the blanket being wrinkled and then smoothing out is very specific in how long it took and how long they're aware of it. And plus, let's be honest, England is haunted as fuck. So I'm going to say tucking electricity ghost.
Yeah, I think so.
Electric tucking in ghost.
Yeah.
That's what that was. Yeah.
Well,
all right.
I guess you should feel flattered. Good job. You met the one nice ghost in London.
Yeah, that sounds about right. All right, well, here's a letter dated June 10th, 2008.
Now, this was a story submitted, sorry to interrupt, by our listener, Ben. This is from listener Ben, and they had written a document about something that happened to them back in 2008. So this is that story here.
Yes, this is from Ben. I've chatted with Ben. Ben's a great dude. All right. June 10th, 2008. Back in 2000. Great start. Okay. Back in 2008, when I was attending a local community college, I had a UFO sighting. They looked like recently escaped silver gray balloons for some event, and I never even thought I was seeing UFOs until the very end of the sighting, which lasted maybe 4 minutes or so. I live in the Salt Lake City area in Utah, great area, love Salt Lake, and was walking home from the Salt Lake Community College in Taylorsville and was still on the campus when I had the sighting. I was walking home from the college and I saw 2 quote-unquote balloons over a building to my left. They were in the sky and just there, so I at first thought there was some event which had the balloons tied to something on the top of the building so people knew that this was where the event was. Makes sense. But as I kept walking, the relation of the balloons to the building I was currently passing wasn't adding up. And once I cleared the building, the balloons were still there, only this time they were further away than I had thought, because in the direction they were at, there are no big buildings. I think we're talking about perspective here. Just suburb homes and businesses. As I was trying to figure out what event the balloons could be for, an airplane passed by. If I recall, it was a Southwest Airlines. Flew on that today. And it flew under the balloons. This gave me some scope. The balloons were hovering over the air traffic for the Salt Lake International Airport. And from the fact that they looked like they were either recently escaped balloons, which weren't drifting away and getting smaller, they had to have been bigger than I had first guessed and higher up than I realized, with the airplane passing underneath them. That's good, paying attention to the scale and relations. I looked away a few times, but kept getting drawn to them and would look up to see if I could make heads or tails of them while I was walking. When I cleared the building, there was a parking lot to my left and a field to my right, a neighborhood of homes beyond that, a freeway behind the neighborhood, etc. So I knew there was no way they were balloons once the airplane flew past underneath them. And the last time I looked away briefly, only to look back, they had vanished suddenly, which was very strange for the couple minutes I saw them there. I was very confused by them disappearing suddenly and looking around, and finally found them far in the sky to my right, in the direction of the field this time. Definitely a few miles away from their first location. They somehow managed to cover this distance in a matter of seconds. And there was a third balloon now. The 3 of them floated there in a triangular formation, the 3 of them being points of the triangle. They would drift closer and then away, but never further than a particular distance away. I realized that, and I wondered to myself if they would do anything else, and they soon after my thinking that, lined up like they were beads on top of each other. I got the chills as I finally realized what I was seeing was unexplainable and had to be UFOs. And I reached my phone in the side of my backpack. I wanted a picture, and the brief moment of looking away slightly, they vanished for good. I have no idea if I saw a total of 3 UFOs or 5. There's no way to know if 2 of the 3 were the same ones I had seen prior to the left of the sky horizon or the 2 new ones, but I'm pretty sure they were the same, and we're just meeting up with the 3rd UFO. I thought they were gray the whole time, up until a certain point I saw the sun glinting on their spheres and realized they had to be silver in color. The whole experience lasted maybe 3 to 5 minutes, but when I posted it originally on New Fork? New Fork?
It's a place, the National UFO Research Center.
Thank you, Michael. I said it lasted only a couple of minutes. Nothing happened after with abductions or Men in Black encounters, but I have had a couple of alien contact-like dreams. I can relate those later if you wish. Nothing happened after with abductions or men in... Oh, yeah, he said that again. We have that line repeated. And then it is repeated again.
Oh, fair enough. This might have been my mistake of copying and pasting. So there you go.
Oh, man, that's a great story, though. Wow. All right.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then Ben's had some, interactions and dreams with some purple-skinned grays, and some other alien entities, it seems, some pale-skinned, blue-eyed aliens. Maybe just dreams. Maybe a contactee, can't be sure. But what stuck out to me in this story, Bryce, I want to hear your take, is this seems like a classic trickster UFO encounter where you're thinking one thing, and then the thing's like, I know what you're thinking, and then shifts as if to respond to your own mental thoughts, like psychically. Like, this seems weird. And then they're like, oh, you want weird? We'll give you weird right now.
Yeah, I got that feeling too from the reading of this story, that there seemed to be some type of interplay or acknowledgement of the observer, which is which is strange. Yes. Yeah, look, I think, just being able to observe these things, looking up in the sky, there's so much strange shit going on. And yeah, that does not sound like balloons. A lot of the times, these things are balloons, and those are probably the most easily mistaken, because they kind of drift to and fro. Sometimes it looks like they've stopped. Sometimes they have sort of a metallic sheen. And I can tell a plane right away because it's just moving in a straight line. But when it starts doing weird stuff like that, that's when I really start to take notice. But yeah, man, it sounds like this is not balloons, and I don't know what. Yeah, dude, more shit in the sky,
What I love about the story is that he used perspective to kind of clock the size and distance, and he was like, okay, well, I can see this and I can see that, and then I'm seeing this thing here, which, judging by those markers, is a ship in the sky, not a tiny sphere, which is it's interesting, it's exciting, it's a cool experience.
Weird stuff. Yeah. And then they start to line up, and then you go, uh-oh, and then you go home.
Okay, never mind. Go to sleep.
You drop out of community college, and you stay in your basement.
I'm not doing that anymore.
All right, thanks for that, Ben. We have one more letter tonight. Now, Bryce, this is from Nick, listener Nick, who, and I'm going to say this spoiler-free for our listeners who have not heard Zombie Bigfoot Scary 16 Monster Showdown 2.
Yep.
But this is the Nick who sent us an awesome package with some original mugs about the ultimate runner-up of that competition. So this is Nick who sent us Christmas gifts that we talked about over on the other side recently. So here we go. Why don't you read this one for us, Bryce?
Let's do it. Okay, here we go. Dear Michael, Bryce, and Riley, and if this airs, likely special guest, which for tonight will be Riley.
You're the special guest.
The
author is the special guest.
The listeners.
Welcome to the
all
show.
The listeners, yes.
Yeah. Hey, guys. First off, I'm such a huge fan of this podcast. It perfectly blends my two listening loves, comedy with cryptids. For years, I listened to the likes of Sasquatch Chronicles and The Cryptid Keeper and needed more content. I don't remember how I first found you guys, but once I did, I was totally hooked. So much so that I've listened to every episode, and when I was done, I went to the other side to get more. Yes. Nice work. Yes. I really love the in-depth, sincere, and thought-provoking discussions y'all have, and love it even more for the humor and overall production of it. So thank you. I will continue to listen for as long as you make them, or at least until I finally go get regressed. Love that. I have had a few interesting bits of high strangeness in my life. I grew up in a small town called Marblehead, Massachusetts. Jen
Marblehead
probably knows of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also the hometown of one of my favorite podcasters, Rana Glickman. Shout out to Rana.
There you go. Well, it's also the birthplace of the American Navy and has been around since the early colonist days. Almost every house and location is haunted. It's all very, very old. And now I live in Gloucestershire, which is equally so.
Gloucester.
Okay. Gloucester. What did I say? Gloucestershire?
I would not have known how to pronounce that.
Gloucester, Mass. Yeah,
Gloucester,
I think it's
Mass. Okay, great.
Unless I'm wrong, and I obviously listen. If anyone's bad with pronunciation, it's me. But I do believe it's Gloucester, Mass.
Okay,
I like the Bryce that you pronounce it like the sauce,
like Worcestershire with a G. I live in Gloucestershire.
Put a little Gloucestershire sauce on it. It's good.
I actually just found out about a sea serpent here in Gloucester that hundreds of people saw in the 1800s.
Oh.
Might be worth a story of high strangeness.
Uncle Michael loves a story of a sea serpent.
Love a good
well,
sea
put that on the
you
possible
do.
episodes idea. Gloucester sea serpent.
Gloucester, Mass.
My real curiosity about paranormal encrypted research started with this story I'm about to tell. I call it The Legend of the Hell Demon, and it's something that has haunted me for 20 years or so. I apologize
fucking
for it
metal.
being a bit long.
Such a metal title.
Yeah, it's a great
Just
title.
Casually drop. Like,
Guys-
call it The Legend of the Hell Demon.
Guys, it is going to be a little bit of a long letter. So I want everybody listening to
Settle in.
refill their top yourself off. Oh boy, that is. I think that's a euphemism in a different country. Sorry about that. If you're listening in England,
Hey, or do.
Take a moment for yourself. Refill the snack bowl,
Yeah.
grab some popcorn, and let's all. I do want to say this, just because I want to say this. Let's all settle back and listen to the legend of the Hell Demon.
Here we go. It all happened on a very dark, very late night on my drive home from UMass to Amherst. I liked driving very late at night to avoid traffic of really any kind. Plus, I was a college kid. 2 a.m. was still evening to me. I also like to take back roads, shave a little time off the trip, get better scenery, and in this case, get to drive the S-curves on a road called Shutesbury Road, which goes straight through the town of Shutesbury, Mass., all the way to the top of a hill where there's a tiny little old white, slightly creepy schoolhouse, and then back down the other side through some woods and empties out onto Route 202, a more major road that brings you to the highway. It was on this back side of the hill that I saw what I saw. I should mention that at the time I was driving a 1987 Subaru that suffered from a common ailment for those cars, a valve lifter tick. If you've heard it, you know what it sounds like, but it's vaguely like putting a stick in your bike's spokes. It was loud, constant tick that, to be honest, scared most humans off. So when I came over the crest of the hill and saw eyes shining in my headlight away down the road, I figured, oh, it's a coyote, coy dog, raccoon, fox, something. It'll run off soon. Well, it didn't. In fact, it didn't move at all. It stood there, staring at me, standing right on the median line of the road as I literally pulled up and stopped next to it. Its only movement was to turn its head as it tracked me. And now, with it directly next to me and my headlights facing away, I could see that its eyes hadn't been reflecting the light, but rather glowing red under their own power.
Oh boy.
It was not like anything that I knew of in the natural world. It was about the size of a large dog with essentially the same body. It had long, dark, coarse fur hanging from its torso. But if you can imagine, where a dog's neck meets the back and chest, just cut the neck and head off and then slap on a disproportionately small, round, almost cat-like head with small round ears and long, sharp, nail-like teeth that was happily showing off to me.
What?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And, of course, glowing red eyes! What the fuck?
Wait. Let's pause here for a minute.
Hold on. Yeah, wait, what? Yeah.
Okay. Fused to
Dog
the
body,
shoulders
cat head.
of this, like, dog body. Bipedal?
It doesn't say, bipedal was never mentioned.
Okay.
Size of a large dog,
a
essentially same
disproportionately
body.
small, round, almost like bear head, almost cat-like head.
Yeah.
With small round ears, so like an Ewok with fangs on a
Sure.
dog's body. What the fuck is this? Okay, go on.
Is this a letter from the lady that found a coyote?
Now we're getting some context.
This is just an Ewok with mange, guys. That's all this is.
All it is. That's all it is.
I sat there for probably 5 minutes, 100% unsure of what I was looking at. I was essentially a little higher up than eye level with this thing, looking out my thankfully closed DS window. And at best, we were otherwise only a couple of feet apart. But it never once moved, seemed worried about anything else, or did anything but stare back at me, presumably trying to figure out how to get in that noisy, smelly car for a snack. And I sat there staring right back, muttering, "What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that?" over and over again. Finally, I realized that I couldn't stay there all night. This thing would certainly win any endurance challenge I threw its way. So still muttering to myself, I started to pull away, valve lifters ticking loud as I hit the gas. It still didn't move and continued to keep that record as I watched it in my rear view mirror until even the glowing red eyes disappeared into the night. The following 2-hour drive home walk into my parents' house, trip to the bathroom, getting ready and climbing into bed, and until I fell asleep was entirely taken up by that same muttering. What the fuck was that? As I relived that moment over and over and over, and still couldn't come up with any thoughts. The following day, I recounted my story to my parents, and then had the great idea to call my best friend Matt, who's an avid outdoorsman, arborist, hunter, and naturalist. He said that it sounded like a fisher cat, which I had never seen, and at that point, you couldn't just Google one up. I had to search, and finally,
now,
I found some pictures of one, and while it had the same kind of face, what I saw was at least 3 times larger than the biggest fisher.
And a fisher cat has a neck, like a pretty pronounced neck. Like it looks like a... I don't think ocelot is the right word, but like almost like a cross between a ferret and a cat.
Right. Well,
yeah, it's not really an ocelot, but it kind of looks like a brown ocelot, to be honest.
I have no insight on the subject.
He says the fisher was out. The fisher was out. So I made a website, www.nickcentric.com/helldemon/
Good website.
in hopes of finding someone who had seen something similar or had tales of a beastie in that area. A few years later, an ex emailed me the story about the Maine monster, a cryptid wolf-like thing they found dead on a road. And while that looked even more like what I saw, it was still a ways off. So I kept looking and got into cryptozoology and told my story to everyone who would listen. And to this day, I will not drive down that road without at least 2 cameras, one rolling video and one ready to take stills. When I had my encounter, cell phones didn't have cameras. Yes, I'm old, so I had no way of documenting it. But I'll be damned if I'm not going to capture it, even if it were to happen again. I usually have at least 2 cameras on me at all points, entirely because of that night. Fast forward about 7 years ago, I was going with a college friend back to that area because he was buying a car there. I was going to drive his truck back and he would drive the new car. We were traveling down that road because he knew the best ways to go too. As we went, he said, "I always get freaked out driving down this road." I asked him what he meant by that. Sure that I had told him my story, but he responded, "Nah, forget it, man. I'm a little embarrassed." So I pressed him and added, "You know, this is where I saw that hell demon, right?" He looked at me genuinely perplexed. I questioned in disbelief whether I had told him the story, and he said no. So I gave him the abridged version. He looked over at me in shock and said, I saw almost the same thing. Glowing red eyes, except," and he paused, "the thing I saw looked like a bat and kind of hovered down from a tree." I should say that at this point, I was 100% sure he was fucking with me. I was sure that I had told him all the details of my experience before and that he was making some story up to mess with me. This was also before I found out that he has the worst memory of anyone I've ever known. But I was also sure that I had never been down this particular road before with him. So when he pointed out the exact same location where he apparently saw this thing, then I saw mine, I nearly pooped myself. That could not be coincidence. Literally the exact same spot, just on the other side of the road where the trees were. So, I don't know. I've thought about going out there and baiting it or going and talking to the 2 neighbors who might have seen things, but I've never really found the motivation. I suppose I should, though it's been a solid 20 years now, and I don't really get out there that much anymore. I suppose it'll go down in the annals of cryptid sightings, but I'll tell you, I still see it in my mind, plain as day, and I don't think I'll ever forget it. Anyways, thanks for the amazing podcast. My lady and I had our first baby 10 months ago, for which I took several weeks off of work, which is where I did most of my podcast listening. And I'll tell you, the only reason I looked forward to returning was so I could catch up on BCC. You guys rule. Cheers, Nick. Well, thank you, Nick, and congratulations on your baby. That's incredible.
Absolutely.
And, dude, you saw a Dogman / Mothman.
Yeah, but this thing is like shape-shifting for the person.
Yeah,
Nick, you got to contact Linda S. Godfrey and tell her this story and get your friend. And I think Linda's going to do a good job of recording this story. She's the author. She's been on the show if you've listened. Of well, I got all the books right over here. I Know What I Saw. American Monsters. She's the woman who coined the phrase, the name, the Beast of Bray Road. Yeah. Weird. Now, here's the other thing. I went to your website while I was listening to this, and the imagery that you've created for this entity, it's that page is gone. So we want some visual aid. Send us a visual aid so we can this one I really want an eyewitness drawing, like the Dover Demon or something. You know what I mean?
Your notes for Michael are work on that website, Nick.
Work on that website. It seems a little dated. I clicked imagery and it took me to a very mid-2000s page about snowboarding. So Nick, just help me out here. I know you're a talented artist, so send us some imagery of what this cryptid is, because so weird, should, you know what? We should put it in the annals of cryptid history. Let's get it up there. Let's get the hell demon out there.
Yeah. I mean, Michael, I think you said it, shapeshifter. That's what I was thinking. I mean, something's on that road.
A glamour.
I doubt it's a glamour.
It's not a shapeshifter. It's a glamour. So it's like it. It's like Pennywise, right? In It, where whatever it's projecting your own mind's eye of whatever it is. You know what I mean? It's sort of based on the user's interaction. This guy saw a bat. This guy saw a cat head on a dog. Somebody might see a weird snake. Someone might see a Mothman. But the thing that's weird about it, Bryce, is, I mean, obviously from the rest of it, is the glowing red eyes. Yeah. What's up with those glowing red eyes?
Well, look, I know from work on my work on Expedition Bigfoot, there are animals of the night who, have an extra layer behind their eye called tapetum lucidum, which reflects light back. But it sounds like that's not what this was. And when we were out in the field and we captured that eye shine too, that was not a reflection of that extra layer of eye. It was like he said, the exact words, it was a glowing red eyes powered on its own. It was just like this glow, like this hell glow. It's fucking crazy. I don't know.
Hell glow. Put it on that's the track list.
Hell glow.
That's a track title. Hell glow.
Done. I'll take it.
That's that song's about glowing after sex with someone that is bad for you.
Hell glow, song number 7 on BJ and the Shadow Bats album number 3. There we go.
Great.
Wow.
Awesome story, Nick. Let's get it to Linda S. Godfrey, and let's get some visual aids for this creature. I want to take a look at what this thing is.
Great story, though. Well done, Nick.
Yeah, thank you so much for sending us. Listen, if you're going to write us a long story, make it that good. Okay, everybody? And we need your L files at Bigfoot Collector. Write into at BigfootCollectorsClub@gmail.com. BigfootCollectorsClub@gmail.com. Excuse me. Yeah. All right. It's time for plugs, boys. What do you got? Riley.
I mean, the Spindrift album finally came out 2 years later.
Hell yeah.
It is now live on it's in your phone. All you have to do is go Spindrift Classic Soundtracks Volume 3, and there it is in your phone, and you can listen to it. And honestly, I'm really excited about it. I'm really proud of it. I love my band so much. I love my record label so much. I got to co-produce this album with Jello Biafra, who's truly one of my punk rock teenage heroes.
Wow.
This was amazing for me. And I truly I stand by this record. I think it's really fun. It features members of the band, as this band goes back for 20 years, which is awesome. Crazy. I haven't been in this band for 20 years, but this band goes back for 20 years. So it's a fun record. Check it out. A Spindrift Classic Soundtracks Volume 3 on all the streamers. And also, if you want to, you can still order a limited edition color vinyl.
There are people who want that vinyl. They've written in asking, is the vinyl still available?
It's still available. There's some left. They are actually selling out pretty rapidly, but there's a few left. And it is at alternativetentacles.com.
Go to releases.
Click on things. Look at the other stuff too. Our label mates are amazing. The Darts are a all-female punk rock band on our label that are so good. Check them out. And, just support support musicians. I don't know. It's a weird time. It's been a couple weird years. But yeah, the album's out. And that's my pitch. Enjoy it, please.
There you
Great.
go. Well done.
Bryce, what do you got?
Well, I have a little bit of more information on the release of Expedition Bigfoot Season 3. We know it's going to be March 20th, but get this. Not only is it going to air on Discovery Plus, Discovery's pay-for-play platform, but it's also going to be at its home Travel Channel. So it will be airing on both linear and Discovery Plus pay. So
Great.
You will be able to see it. Really excited about that, airing on both Travel Channel and Discovery Plus.
A
March
very
20th.
cool announcement they made on Instagram as of today, this recording.
Yes. We are going to open up the series with a conversation with none other than Dr. Jane Goodall. That's right. Our very own Maria Mayer sits down and talks Bigfoot with Jane Goodall.
That is so fucking cool, dude. That is so exciting. I
mean, it doesn't get much bigger than that.
Just for that, like what a moment. That's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It is. It does feel like a moment, and it's something we're all very proud of. And listen, you'll hear, as we all will, she's not a disbeliever, man.
Nice.
She is. That's why she came on our show. She thinks there's something to this Bigfoot phenomenon.
I know you can't say too much.
So cool.
Are we gonna dig any more into the DNA that they found in the nest in Kentucky? I believe it was.
Yeah.
It was like similar to the chimp DNA, or like an unknown primate.
Yeah. Well, what do you have to do with scientific results? What
do I have to do with them?
You have to repeat them. So yes, there will be
Judge
more.
Them based on Facebook posts.
Yeah, I guess if I'm an ornithologist, defend myself like crazy against Bryce Johnson. This guy is full of what contradictions. Jane Goodall's here, but an ornithologist who tells me these birds didn't hit an invisible spaceship.
Jane Goodall's down for Bigfoot. If this ornithologist would have thrown in the word UFO in there,
Jane Goodall
ain't
no damn ornithologist. Fuck off, come on.
Hashtag ornithologists for UFOs. Hit us up if you are a believer. Okay, great. Awesome. I honestly can't wait for that. We've had to wait a little while for season 3, so I'm excited that we're getting it soon. Speaking of soon, my new podcast, Slate Your Name, is going to launch. I think I can say this. Hard date.
Ooh.
Tuesday, March 1st.
Oh, wow. Nice.
I'm very excited about this. My very first guest so Slate Your Name is going to be me talking with other actors and performers about the entertainment industry and navigating the highs and lows of working in this business. And my very first guest will be none other than Rachel Bloom, my former boss and co-star from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. And I have a great fucking conversation with Rachel. We have some awesome actors lined up, including Bryce Johnson. We'll have an episode within the first month. So that's also going to be coming from Campfire Media, so you can find it anywhere that you want. I'm not sure as of this recording if I'll have anything in place yet, but you can follow the podcast at Slate Your Name Pod on Instagram and Slate Pod on Twitter. Cool. But keep your ears peeled. There might even be a trailer playing in this episode for that. I'm very, very excited. I've been working on this for months now. So it's going to be coming out very soon, and I can't wait for you guys to hear it.
I really enjoyed our conversation, and the fans of the Bigfoot Collectors Club will duly enjoy both podcasts. You're such an incredible host, and yeah, man, I just loved our conversation. I think people are going to love your new endeavor, man. Congratulations, dude. So awesome.
I'm looking forward to it. All right, guys, that wraps up this week's episode of Bigfoot Collectors Club. Until next week, good night.
You know what to do. Go get regressed.
That's right.
Bigfoot Bigfoot Collectors Club is produced by Riley Bray and Michael McMillan and scored and engineered by Riley Bray. Our theme song, Come Alone, is by Sun Eaters, courtesy of Lotus Pool Records. Do us a favor and support the show and unlock 3 bonus episodes every month by becoming a member of our Patreon, BCC The Other Side, which can be found at patreon.com/Bigfoot Collectors Club.